All righty. Okay, Minute Mistress Micah here. This is, I guess, class 2 of the concept of love, the philosophical concept of love, right? Today we're going to talk about EROS love, that passionate fire from within. All right, before we begin, let's have a quick word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this time. Let this presentation accomplish that which you please, and let it not return to you void. Amen. All righty. So, Eros love, and we already know if and y'all are God's audience. Try to mention that in all my little videos here. If you watch the first concept of love, the philosophical 101 concept of love, you'll know what the Eros love is right there. So let's get into it. All right, philosophy 101. All right, the word love is loosely, and oh man, is it loosely used in society today. I love tacos. Love has been used to replace words such as like and affinity, right? And it's a real word. It's a real word. Expanding that vocabulary, right? Seeking knowledge, right? It's good. So saying I have an affinity for tacos would be more appropriate in speech than I love tacos, right? But the American English, our vernacular in 2022 has been so stupefied and dumbed down. And stupid and dumb are two different words, but both statements are correct there. It has been stupefied and dumbed down, right? I have an affinity for tacos is far more appropriate and proper than I love tacos. I love cookies. I love tacos, right? I have an affinity for, and if you were out with someone and it's like, hey, what do you all want to eat? And you said, well, I have an affinity for tacos, so that sounds good. It's like, what did he just say? It's like, I guess when you're smarter than the people around you, you're going to be ostracized. Plato's cave. Hey, the guy was clearly, he had more knowledge than the guys that were still chained up, and he was ostracized. Plato's cave right there. Mm-hmm. Where's my mouse? When you say I love tacos, your best friend must be a taco. If you're thinking of that filio love, which that's ridiculous. And I challenge y'all. Next time you hear someone say like, "Oh, I love tacos," or I love cookies, like your best friend must be a taco or a cook. Like fill in the blank. Or you have some tacos in your family that storge love, right? That's funny. Mostly when the word love is used, it's referring to the eros love, the romantic affection between a man and a woman. So I say this because love has a meaning. Love is what it is in its variously displayed forms, and love is not lust. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this right here. If you get anything out of this, love and lust are two different things, completely different, but they look exactly the same. They're very hard to tell apart. Very hard to tell apart. Because from afar, it's like, it's the same thing. And we're going to get into it. All right, so lust is a verb to have intense sexual desire, to have a yearning or desire, to have a strong or excessive craving, often followed by for or after. A craving for power, a lust for power, right? A lot of people in high office, public, huh. Yeah, it's public, all right. That's why they put a guarded fence around their building, right? public, they have a lust for power. It's like they crave it. They got to have it. And if they don't have it, they have withdrawals. It's a lust, and they will do anything to get it, right? It's a lust. It's an excessive excessive, right? Now, is this love or lust? Is this, where is my mouse? I get tired of this mouse disappearing on me. You see, a young man, young woman at the beach with the sun setting. Is that love or lust? You don't know. I there's no way of knowing from afar, right? That could be purely lust. That could be a deep-seated love, right? Built on a foundation. From afar, you don't know. It's nearly impossible to tell. It really is. All right. I could start fires with what I feel for you. That's the feeling. That is the feeling, right? Now, is that love or lust? Again, we don't know. It's like it's two different paths, but that eros love, love and lust, they converge at this eros point, and you can't tell from which direction it came. Love or lust? Eros love and lust are very similar in appearance, but lust has no intention of commitment or follow through. And that's how you can tell. You can tell thereafter. You can't tell at the moment from afar, but thereafter, like, it's okay. Hey, like, the curtain's pulled back and you can clearly tell that was lust, right? Or you can clearly tell that was love, right? Like, you'll know thereafter. Like, there was no doubt, no doubt. All right. Eros love is promoted heavily in movies, music, and media. Oh, is it? It's sold as something casual and common. Eros love is not casual, casual sex. And I think it was one of Billy Graham's children that was saying this on the radio. I heard it on the radio, and he was like, casual sex. There's no such thing as casual sex. It's not casual. And I wholly buy that for $1. Oh yes, there's nothing casual about it. But March 23rd, 1990, the world was privy to Richard Gere and Julia Roberts' Hollywood film Pretty Woman, in which she played a harlot and he was a rich man, and then magically the two fell in love. Not very likely. But it sold tickets because romantic comedies hit a market in which, women, they see something which is possibly attainable, right? It's feeding into their likings. But it's sold as casual and common. Everybody does it, right? It's acceptable. It's morally acceptable. There's, on that moral compass, there's ain't nothing wrong with it, right? Him and I. It's just another, 2017, right? Like, man and a woman, man and a woman. It's just more, and you can see from 1990 to 2017, where, portrayal and modesty has dived into, right? Okay, yeah, she's a harlot, and now she's naked. And he's a rich man, at least respectable looking on the outside. He's, a skeleton. Like, what? Anyway, that's a whole other subject right there. But that's how it's sold, right? And this was a movie, they sold tickets. This was a music album, they sold copies. truly is sold, and that's how it's sold, right? And there's nothing wrong with Eros love. Nothing wrong with it. So what's the problem? The problem is when the line between love and lust gets blurred, and it's such a fine line. It's such a fine line. It becomes a social problem on a large scale, and it becomes a personal problem at the individual level. It's a problem. It's a big problem, huge problem. All right, so we're gonna look at a case study here. So we got Ryan, uh, Billy Ryan, aka Joe Cool, right? You know, he drives his dad's he drives his dad's lifted Dodge Ram, and that's pretty typical, you know, of a Joe Cool guy. It's like when you're in high school, you ain't driving a lifted Dodge Ram. Like you're not. Your dad is, and he's letting you have the keys, right? And then and if you just think about that, like, okay, hey, you know, your son's old enough to drive, he needs to start taking on responsibility, but then you're at work all day, and then you leave your son with this big old, you know, big old lifted truck. What do you think he's gonna do with it? What, like, are you shocked when things happen? All right, so external traits. He's rebellious. He's confident. Oh, is he confident? He too confident. He's physically capable, right? I mean, I guess if he wanted to play on the football team, he definitely could, you know, he could definitely make the cut, but he's rebellious, so he's, you know, not doing anything productive in that respect. He does extreme motorsports, and when I say extreme motorsports, like dirt biking and four wheeling, because his parents have money. He's got cool hair, you know, he's trendy, and he's got the backwards hat. He wears expensive, trendy clothes, and surprise, he likes to party. Huh. I'm shocked, right? You know, Billy Ryan, he's so cool, and he's got his ears pierced. Oh, he's rebellious. All right. So those are his external traits. Just anybody objectively can look at him and get the same answers. That's objective. Internal traits, not visible to the eye. He's selfish, not selfless. Huge difference, completely opposed. He lacks maturity. What is maturity? What is maturity? He lacks effective communication skills. He's ignorant of actions and consequences, and he's not mature, right? He's going to make stupid decisions. He doesn't know, and he doesn't care about the decisions and choices he makes because his dad has money, and you know, probably the way he was brought up, if he got in trouble or made a mess of things, his dad would probably bail him out and clean up his mess, right? He never had to take responsibility for his actions, which is it's not a good thing. Individual responsibility, huge proponent of it. All right, now we got Macy, Billy Macy, Muddy Girl camo. Yes, and you can't really see. There's Macy right there. All right, she rides four wheelers in the Appalachian Mountains. All right, her external traits. She's got long red colored hair, nice flowy long red, natural long red hair. She's a pretty young woman. She's smiley. She's got an outgoing personality, and she likes to hang out with the guys. She gets muddy, right? She just likes to go out. Like she's not afraid to get dirty, right? Very feminine, and that's her external traits. And just like, you know, Billy Ryan, these are objective. Anybody can stand far back, look at Macy, Billy Macy, and get the same answers, right? So the internal traits not visible to the eye. She's overly confident, which That's not necessarily a good thing. Confidence is good. Overly confident. She's self-assured, right? She gets assurance from herself. She takes big risks, right? Riding her four-wheeler, she's not afraid to take a risk. Like, can I make that? Is that puddle of mud too deep? I'm gonna go for it. And she's naive, which means she lacks judgment, right? Yes. So we got, goodness. Billy Ryan, Billy Macy, Muddy Girl camo. Yep. She likes her Muddy Girl camo. That stuff's expensive. All right. So Billy Ryan and Billy Muddy Girl camo. Billy Macy Muddy Girl camo meet at a party in the woods, and all the cool kids riding their dirt bikes and mud runner quads or in the mud were there. And when they met, it went something like this. And where is my mouse? That is killing. It's like it disappears and you can't find it. Billy Ryan says, "Hey girl, what your name is?" Oh, goodness. Oh, yes, that was the line. Billy Ryan saw Billy Muddy Macy, and he's like, "What your name is?" That's vocabulary. We've talked about this. And Billy Macy Muddy Girl camo blushing, and she says, "I'll never tell." Hee hee hee. And it's like, "I won't tell you." Being very, very flirtatious. She is, yes. And Billy Ryan says, "Well, I'm gonna call you my girl. Hop on." And Billy Macy Muddy Girl camo says, "Okay," and hops on. And just like that, confidence, Billy Macy and Billy Ryan are going out together, getting all muddy in the mud, all their friends watching. And so Billy Ryan and Billy Macy, they fall in love. Oh, they fell in love. Oh, how isn't that sweet? Kids in high school falling in love. Oh, it's so sweet. The two are in love, or are they? Are they? Are they in love? Are they? What kind of love is this? Is it that Eros love? On the surface, yes, it looks like it, right? Is it love or is it lust? It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. You don't know until after. You don't know until after if it's love or lust, right? Is it agape love? Is it that selfless, sacrificial love? That charitable love? I don't know. I don't know. Is it that filial love? Like, do they have that connection where like he can trust her with like she's like they're like Batman and Robin, right? And that's the question you got to ask. Like, are you and your partner, your spouse, your significant other, are y'all like Batman and Robin? Are you? Are you team your name and their name, right? Because if you're not, that's not that 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 needs work. That needs work, right? What kind of love is this? It's hard to tell from afar. Hard to tell from afar. I'd say on the surface, it's Eros love on the surface, right? But like I said, you can't tell. I mean, they're making out. Clearly, it's Eros love, right? Okay. And look, they're all dressed up, some sort of, formal dinner, or maybe they're on a date and he just wanted to impress. They're smiling. And they're taking trips together. Look, they're on an airplane. They're going somewhere, right? The two travel together. They go out together. Oh man, this is great. Their song is Halsey and G-Eazy, Him and I. That's their song. Yes. The two are so in love. They're so in love with each other. They get in the back of his dad's lifted Dodge Ram with the Cummins. It's not a Dodge, it's a Cummins. They're so in love. They're so in love with each other. They get in the back seat of his dad's lifted Dodge truck. What happens? They fornicate in the back seat of Billy Ryan's dad's lifted truck. And if y'all, watch my intro to philosophy, if you're not married to someone, you have sex, that's called fornication. They fornicated. They're fornicating in the back of his dad's truck. That's what happened. Now, after the two have really gotten to know each other, and that's biblical, right? So the Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 4, Adam knew his wife Eve. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1, Adam knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bare a son, and they called him Cain. So they've gotten to know each other. Now, after the two have gotten to know each other, Billy Ryan isn't smiling in their pictures anymore. Why not? Look at that. Look, she's all happy. And if you can see, he's not really smiling. It's like he doesn't even want to be there. And then when they go out, it's kind of like a blank stare. Like I don't like to use the term NPC, a non-player character, but there's like a void of emotion right there, right? Why isn't he smiling? And because he's not smiling, he's showing a lack of interest. Now the two start to argue for the first time. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What? Arguing? No, they're in love. They can't argue. That's impossible. That's not right. Now they don't sit by each other. Well, I mean, they sit by each other, but they sit away from each other, right? And body language says a lot, right? When you got your arms crossed and you're just like, and it's like, he's got his cool hat on, his cool shoes. Body language says a lot. You think he's interested in her still? Doesn't look like it. This can't be right because the two are in love, right? They're in love. This can't be right. Something's wrong here. No, nothing's wrong. I'm wrong. No, who's wrong? Guess what? Guess what? Billy Macy Mighty Girl Camo is 16 and she's gonna have a baby. She is pregnant. Oh, that's not good. Or isn't it? It's a beautiful thing, right? Right? A baby. Babies are great, right? Maybe under different circumstances, but this is a dilemma here. There's some cracks in the foundation, that's for sure. Now what? That's a good question. Now what? All right, so philosophy. And I like this picture right here. You can see love and lust, or can you? It's hard to tell. It's like they're the same size, or I can't tell what's love and what's lust. All right, so this is where the problem of when the line between love and lust gets blurred, right? Like this situation right here, the line of love and lust got blurred. You couldn't tell at the beginning, you couldn't tell during, but thereafter, the curtain gets revealed, and that was lust, clearly, right? But it was love. It was love, right? You never hear in music, in media, in pop culture, in lust. You never hear the word lust. It's like if you were to go out on the street and ask people what is lust, they probably wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't. But because of love, right? Because everything's love. Love has no labels. We have a pregnant Billy Macy and an absent Billy Ryan. Oh man, that's not good. And this story is quite common, and it's unfortunate that it played out as it did. But like I said, it's very common. But being 16 years old and living at home, hopefully there are parents that love, that agape love, that unconditional love, right? Your child went astray, went down the wrong path, made a bad choice, and is dealing with the consequence. Hopefully the parents have that agape love for their child with each other. And parents, hopefully there are parents that love each other and are still together and able to provide stability and support, right? Especially in America, having both parents in the household, it's not very common. Not very common. And few, and I can say few that come from a home like that make it. So hopefully Billy Macy has support at the home, right? Because she ain't gonna get no support from her boyfriend. All right, so what if Billy Macy was not 16? What because when you're 16, you're still a child. You still classify as a child. Sure, you can get a driver's license and do things, but you're still a child. What if she was older, like 25, 26, right? Or 22, right? And had nowhere to go, no money, and no way to take care of the baby. What does she do? No, now we got some social problems here. I'm still recording here. Now we got some social problems. Like like a can of worms has just been opened up, right? Now we got society involved. Two people fell in love, and now it's a societal problem. Who's going to help this woman in this situation? Is someone's just going to swoop? Is a knight in shining armor going to swoop in and marry her and commit and take care of her and be with her forever, for better or worse? Not likely. It's not improbable. It's not impossible, just improbable. All right. What do some women do in this situation? They got no husband. So, and I don't like the term wedlock. They're out of wedlock, but I guess that's a common term people use. I like to use the term fornicating. No husband, no father for the child. Like, what is this woman to do? It's a moral dilemma, right? That moral compass comes into play, right? Like, so what do? Sadly, this is rampant and prevailing and unchecked. Like, no one's doing anything about it, right? It happens and it keeps happening. It's happening more and more, and no one's doing a thing about it. It's rampant in American society. Fatherless homes, orphan children, and single moms. It's a personal problem because the man that swore he loved you did not. He lied. I mean, maybe it wasn't a lie at the time, right? But then that's where that line between love and lust comes in, right? Lust does not commit. Love does. Lust takes. Lust is almost a grievous. Uh, it's not good, to say the least. Now, is lust a grievous evil? It'd be a fair statement to say lust is an evil. Yes, it is, because it takes, and it has no regard for where and what it takes from. Let me see. It's a personal problem because he does not. The fact of the matter is, some women in this situation go to a place. Okay, and this is where it hits home, right? A social problem. Women in this situation go to a place that deals with matters of this sort. I'll let you determine where a woman in Billy Macy's situation would go. Pregnant women let and I do mean in quotes, doctor. I think we have a conversation on what a doctor is. I thought a doctor was supposed to practice medicine and heal the sick. Remove the baby from her womb. I'll spare the details. All right. Pregnant women let a doctor remove the baby from her womb. Is that love? Is that familial family love, a mother and her child? Is it? Is it? I'll let you make that. Let you draw that conclusion, right? It's a one-on-one class. Kind of give some facts, learn, pick up a few things, think for yourself. Is that love? All right. So because of love, right? Because it certainly wasn't lust, right? No, heavens, no, it wasn't lust. Because of love, we have a guy fornicate with a girl and leave her. Not interested in speaking to her again. Gone. Wants nothing to do with her or his baby. Right. And it's like, guy, that baby, that's part of you. That's your DNA. And DNA it's very important. Very important. There's that image of God presentation I gave. DNA. It's very important. Because of love, because it wasn't lust, right? It was love. We have a girl practicing child sacrifice in its various forms with her baby because she's scared. She doesn't know what to do, right? It's awful. Love. Yes, it's love. Philosophy looks at the world we see and aims to make sense of it, right? And this is all philosophical. We try to make sense of it. Logic, reason, and wisdom, knowledge applied are tools used in philosophy. What conclusions can we draw upon the blurring of the lines of love and lust, right? I'd say it's an evil, right? So like, your cave, right? The environment you grew up in. This is coming, it's rampant, so it's prevailing, which means it's coming more and more, and it's unchecked. No one's doing anything about it. So what are the chances that someone this will happen to, right? It's very possible, right? So philosophy looks at the observable. This is observable. And they try to make sense of it all, right? So how do we make sense of all this? And contrary to Richard Dawkins, which I've referenced time and time again, who believes there's no purpose or design in life, I believe it is possible that perhaps there is a design for love. Maybe love isn't just this, fleeting feeling from within, but maybe there's a design for it. Yes. Maybe there's a design for love. So when we look at it objectively, Billy Ryan and Billy Macy, their journey, if you will, went from hey girl to EROS love. Like very little in between. Very little in between. Happened fast. Happened fast. Not, what do they say? Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome was a great city. Still stands today, right? Good things take time. So what if there was a design? What if there is a design for love, and we can objectively, map it out? It goes from hey girl to a filio, a deep connection with that person, right? It's like They both obviously like their motorsports and getting muddy and being outdoors. You know, there's something in common that they could share, right? Maybe if they slowed down, took the time, built the foundation, right? Got to know each other a little more before getting to know each other, if you know what I mean, right? They build the foundation. And then, you know, that leads to that agape love, that selfless sacrificial love, right? And if you can see this picture here, my mouse, it's raining, it's flooding, and the dude's got her in his arms and he's carrying her so she don't get her feet and socks wet. Like that sucks getting your socks wet. But that's selfless. It's not like he's gonna walk, you know, halfway and then set her down and be like, okay, now you carry me, right? I carried you halfway, now you carry me the rest of the way. No, like your feet's wet. It's not gonna like he's not expecting anything in return. He's doing it because he wants to do it, right? That's that agape love. And then with that selflessness and that trust and that connection built up, that leads to commitment. And then the commitment, you know, in a plan of design leads to the eros love, and it's meaningful. It's not just empty and hollow. It's meaningful. You know, they're gonna be there the next day and thereafter, right? It's someone you can trust and confide in. You're a team, right? And then love grows, right? Yes, love grows. You got that family, you know, it blossoms into a family because you've laid a foundation, right? And you're committed to each other because you selflessly commit. It's charity, it's charitable. You want to make the other person happy without expecting anything in return, right? But where does that come from? Where does that come from? I mean, obviously that's a solid design, right? That's a solid design. And historically, the family has been the foundation of society. You want a strong government? You want a strong military? You know, you want people with honor and integrity? Well, they come from a strong family or a halfway functional family, right? You want someone with integrity, you know. Kids that grow up in a fatherless home, not all of them have integrity. Not all of them have integrity. Or a broken home, right? But there's a design for love. I believe this to be a solid design for love. And so comparing and contrasting love and lust, if you objectively make a list of what love is, and you make a list of what lust is, and you compare, right? Love commits, lust is selfish, love is shallow, love is pure, lust is impure. It takes, it gives. Where does it say? Love gives, lust takes. Does it say that in here somewhere? Love takes. It takes. It's selfish. Look at love is personal. Lust is objectifying. Love is life-giving. Lust is lifeless. Love here, paramount, commitment. Love is lifelong. Lust is temporary. Like Billy Ryan loved Billy Macy long enough to get what he wanted, and then that's it. Gone. Gone. Huge difference. Lust. And so here's lust. Well, lust versus love, right? It's easy to say, you know, to this young woman, you're the most beautiful person, right? But stick around long term and then it's funny. It's funny because it's like, hey, who doesn't like to have a burrito in bed while watching their favorite program on the television, right? And then if you're still around for that, and you can say, with conviction, you're the most beautiful person. That's love right there. Is the hot mess that, people can become, men and women alike, and you're still committed. That's love. That is love. It's deep, it's meaningful. It lets you know, like, no matter what, it's not where you go, it's who you go with, right? Or who goes with you. It's not about it's not the destination, it's the journey with who goes with you. And so love, it's a beautiful thing. You got a commitment. You're gonna argue. Let me tell you from experience, you're gonna argue. Oh my goodness, there'll be some arguing. Oh Lord have mercy, the arguing. But conflict resolution. Maybe I should do one on conflict resolution's a big one. You gotta once you've mastered that conflict resolution, okay, we can Charlie Mike, we can keep going. And then you got your family time, and then that commitment, the same couple, you know, Fred and Ethel right there. Fred and that. Anybody watch? Who remembers I Love Lucy on TV, during the weekday? I did. Fred and Ethel right there. God bless them. Love is as strong as a rock, never ending love, forever connected, like a rock, right? And that's Eros love right there, contrasted to lust. So with that, hope y'all got something out of that. And I will end this meeting for all. Hope you got something out of this. Y'all are God's audience. God bless.